All right, everyone, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me is none other than my co-host Avira.
Ow! Hey guys, what's up? Happy Friday, or Saturday, depending on your hemisphere, and happy Cinco de Mayo.
Insert line in Spanish here.
See, see,
Good, good.
el bueno pero.
Muchas gracias, amigo. All right. Now, next on the show, we have, as always, our interim host, Noble.
Good morning, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And it is a fantastic time and day of every single period. Ever.
And in case if anyone wants to rip on me, yes, I did take that from the Truman Show.
The Truman, I know I was gonna say that. Yes.
Perfect. Joining us next on the show, we have Ali.
Hey y'all. Oh.
Looking fantastic as always.
Thank you.
All the time. And joining us on the show, we have Buddy.
Hello.
No, nice to have you on the show. All right. So, let's get started with a bit of housekeeping things, current things, and what everyone's talking about. Today-ish, or even tomorrow, we are coming very close to having the Commonwealth is coming close to having its new monarch crowned. Well, yeah, today, 6th of May.
Right. So I'm sure you guys remember that unfortunately the Queen Elizabeth, she passed quite some time ago, and now they're going to officially coronate the new King of England, as well as the Commonwealth.
Indeed, King Charles III is set to take the throne May the 6th, and he enters at the age of 74.
May his reign be as short as his temper.
Oh, goodness.
Spiffy shot that one. But yeah, it's it's gonna be a good shake-up, I guess, for the royal family. So if you really are into that sort of thing, then yeah.
And if you're into coin collecting or anything, if you have any kind of old currency that depicts the Queen, that's probably going to be worth a little bit more now because they're never going to reprint those again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, the Queen's face has been on the around circulation for like decades and decades around currencies. Wow.
Probably close to 60 years, maybe 70.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're getting all of our coins minted with the King's mug, and the $5 Australian note is gonna have the King's face on it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the former Prince Charles? Was this the one who has a dedicated cult to him of like a tribe of people that like have his depiction as like a literal god, or did that other Charles pass?
I don't remember.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You ever hear about that?
I recall something about that, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the current king or if it was someone else, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. But there was this island where he visited back in like the 50s or something, and this whole tribe created like a cult of personality about him, like they have pictures of him and everything. It's like their religion. I don't know if this is the same Prince Charles or maybe it's somebody else, but if someone in the royal family, I'm not sure if they're still alive or
Must
not.
be a
It
Charles
might be
older
them.
generation if it's the 50s.
I don't know. Probably. Who knows?
Yeah, it must be Charles II.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
But yeah, that's that's exactly what we have to look forward to. And here, some people down here are actually wishing that we in Australia have an Australian as our head of state.
Hmm.
Not so much the Queen, not so much the King. But, oh well. So it's going to be interesting to see the changing of the crown. To say the least.
Oh yeah, of course. They're going to be putting on a massive ceremony.
Well, it's not just that, but he wants everybody in England and I believe also Australia as well to pledge their allegiance to him instead of having like a figurehead do it. I'm got a problem with that, to be honest.
Wait, what exactly does that entail? Like he wants like the leaders of Australia and England, like the Prime Minister and all that, to.
No. He doesn't want the leaders to, which I would agree with,
Mhm.
but he wants everybody during his inauguration to pledge their allegiance to him verbally, even if you're at home in front of the TV, even if you're not watching it.
That would actually be tantamount to creating the Commonwealth Empire.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't really see it as a problem, or at least like as much as a problem as other people
Like I
might.
said, if there was a representative doing that in front of him, I'm comfortable with that. That's acceptable. But for me here, watching it on my computer to be forced to do that, it's like, no. I'm gonna be I might watch it after just to see if there's any sort of shit show that goes on during it. But in general, no. I'm
Right,
not
well,
going
I
to
don't
do
think
that.
people
I'm nowhere
should be
near him.
forced to. Like they shouldn't be forced or like obligated to. But maybe he's trying to do this as like a way to unify people. Like under a monarchy, right? Like that's kind of what they do. Kings and queens. They had godly power back in the day. So
This particular twat has a history of being really pedantic about things, sort of similar to the way some new type of employees are that a lot of people seem to dislike. So I'm not going to entertain that.
I see. Yeah, well, it should definitely be a personal choice for sure. But maybe it's some kind of marketing campaign. I don't know. He's like what 70 something. He probably doesn't. Like, of course, my subjects. I don't know.
Then we'd all be prostrating and bowing down.
Yeah, well,
His
if
Majesty.
Biden asked me to do that, no thanks. Then again, we live in America with freedom of speech, supposedly.
No. America's not a monarchy, even though some people wish they were a king of America.
For sure.
All right, so let's get started with the bread and circuses of our time, as we naturally do. So, what have we got here? First, we are going to celebrate a statement that is always an adage that is now true in our time. Vice Media once valued at $5.7 billion, reportedly headed for bankruptcy.
Ah, yeah, the crumbling of the lamestream media.
So
Love to
I'm
see
going to
it.
say this up front, but when Vice first came out, I did like a lot of the news stories that they were producing and how they were doing it when they first came out. Then as things sort of boiled along, I just started looking at it thinking, this isn't that good.
No,
And then towards
absolutely.
the end, it's been like, what the hell are you pricks doing this time?
Yeah, Vice used to really be good because back in the day they did on-site reporting of like conflict zones or political unrest in like different countries. And they would just like report the news as it was. It was really incredible stuff. They have a lot of really good documentaries about governments and all kinds of stuff. But somewhere along the line, pretty much before 2015-ish, when the election started happening, kind of
They
spiraled
basically
down the path of bonkersness.
Didn't they do a story on furries once, and it was like really preachy, and all I remember is that it had a ton of dislikes on it.
I have no doubt that every news outlet has to have covered furries at some point in their lives.
Well, I know BuzzFeed for sure directly covered us.
I know we've been on outlets such as the Rolling Stone and then some.
But Vice, once at $5.7 billion, mind you, that's more money than a large percentage of third world countries have in their GDP. This is crazy.
Yes, but now their valuation and the sale that they've gotten up to has been reduced to a meager $400 million.
Ouch. Imagine losing $5.3 billion. How on earth do you explain that to your boss? Yeah, 5 years ago we were totally good, but... Oh, man. That hurts.
Yeah, and they're now basically trying to auction their, the dying throes of an outlet off.
The problem with Vice is they changed from on-site journalistic reporting to spreading propaganda pieces, and they got way too political, and they just went down that whole road of getting woke. And what happened?
Mhm.
Come on. Get woke, go broke, right? Look at this. It's nonsense. 400 million.
Going
That's
broke
crazy.
takes a little while after going woke, depending on what your income is.
It really, really, really depends. Like, or some of them have actually gone really quickly.
Look-
If you look at what's happening recently with other companies, not
What
just
you mean, like
journalistic
Bud
ones.
Light?
Yeah.
That is just a falling off the slope right there. There's
Sorry.
no slow burn at all.
I always thought Bud Light was like this piss weak alcohol that only pansies drank. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but now everyone thinks that. Have you seen the memes? Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
Oh,
But we'll get into that a little bit later. But same thing with Vice. Like, that's what happens when these companies embrace these woke nonsense politics that only relate to like a minority of wackadoodles. The normal people are like, what the hell is this about? And we reject it because we're not crazy. Like, who wants to drink a freaking can of Bud Light with a rainbow on it, like with a bunch of biker buddies? Fuck no! Of course not, right? Like, know your customer, guys.
Right. And now I would imagine like Bud Light is like have you seen that as of right now, like all the pallets and packs of Bud Light just piling up?
it's kind of like Fast News stories in the corner.
Well, they're not news anymore. That's the thing. They're just propaganda at this point. That's why they're losing so many people. Even their YouTube channel is just disliked to oblivion. What were you gonna say, Ali?
I was gonna say about Bud Light. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy Bud Light anymore.
Nah. Most people won't.
Yeah.
Like now I'm seeing pictures of all the entire alcohol section and all the other brands like Coors and that have they've literally gone empty. While Bud Light is just piling up in the stock room.
And even at baseball games, that's pretty sad too. Did you guys see like that viral video that just happened like yesterday?
Yeah.
They were at a baseball game, like everyone was lined up at the door to go buy like other things, and then the whole Bud Light stand was completely empty. They couldn't even sell a beer at a freaking baseball game. That's a failure right there.
You got that right.
But they're still trying to defend it. Aside from that, though, I mean, Vice has been one of the main, I guess you can say, alternative news sites, like on the internet specifically. Like that's really where they have like most of their leeway. And they were pretty big back in the day. So what happened?
I mean, also when you look at the big picture of things, especially with the well, look at you, aren't you a nice little have you become a tranny now, Noble?
I just thought I'd go with Elizabeth.
Hey, she is expressing her true self, and it's beautiful, stunning, and brave.
Vera, do you know about Elizabeth Holmes?
Who?
Oh God, you should look her up.
Wait, I didn't hear you. Elizabeth who?
I shouldn't say it all though.
Did you say Elizabeth Warren? You mean the one who pretended to be a Native American?
No, Elizabeth Holmes.
Oh, nope.
Basically, she tried to imitate Steve Jobs while running a sham company. I think she's serving in prison at the moment.
Wait a minute. Was she the one that had like that $4 billion blood test thing?
Yep.
Oh, I know about that story. Okay, I forgot her name, but yes. Yeah, yo, she scammed the whole world with that. $4 billion in her company, this portable blood test, whatever, to tell you everything. Nope. Total Ponzi scheme. Yeah, now she's serving like years in prison.
With the whole BuzzFeed thing. Vice, sorry. I'm following along that she's basically sort of not part of it, but following along the same kind of point about scamming people.
The whole trajectory.
What are the latest Vice stories you've seen that have been like biased anyway? It's always
Unfortunately,
about trying to manipulate people into going a certain way and believing a certain thing, just like what this woman did.
yeah, well, this woman, she was scamming people who were very desperate for medical care. They didn't want to have to spend all the money on blood tests, but if they have a portable machine at home, they can test themselves. Yeah, but nope, it was all a lie. And she just told people what they wanted to hear, and they gave her billions. That's nuts. And same thing, I guess, with Vice as well. I mean, they were worth well over like $5 billion. And what happened? They used to support like actual news and stuff. Then they started getting all biased and crap, and people were like, "This isn't news. This is the same kind of propaganda we
Not
get
to
on
mention,
TV."
Vice and all the other ported, personal, authors blogs like Waypoint and all that shit. They were posting degenerate content too, fetishy stuff and
Yep.
all the
Very
other
true.
bullshit.
You know what? If I'm going onto a dating website, yeah, I'm going to want to know what your sexual preferences are. If I'm looking at a social media account and it's a job application or, find someone to interact with, unless if it's friends with benefits, I don't particularly want to know what you're sexually aroused by. So,
Yeah, that's true.
But to add to that, though, I do want to give you a bit of a bigger picture. Is that this is the sort of year that all the old legacy media has all become crumbling down, and due to a couple of other little and big things too. I do to start with. Twitter actually accurately labeling them as state funded and all that has causing them to news outlets to rage quit.
Yeah, well, YouTube started that actually a few years ago. For
Yeah,
example,
but now,
if you,
Twitter,
now Twitter is doing it.
with the blue check program and all that, they labeled outlets like NPR and CBS and CBC.
So
Canadian
I
Broadcasting
I
Corporation.
haven't been on Twitter in a while, but RT, like the Russian news, is that censored on Twitter or is that still allowed?
I'm sure RT should be on Twitter still. Russia Today.
Right.
I just got banned from Twitter again yesterday.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I was banned back in December.
Yeah, I have a new account I already made, so I'll probably get on tomorrow.
What happened? Like, did the algorithm hit you or something?
Yeah, they banned me for some BS reason.
Lame.
Yeah, so Russia Today is still on Twitter. It's just the thingos that have also been labeled as accurate too. The BBC also state funded. Like, oh my god, that saga about how one man basically, Elon Musk broke one man.
Mm. The thing is, this Vice thing, this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Just in the last month or so, we've seen some major hits to mainstream media, specifically both CNN and Fox News. Like, you would assume that they're both like rivals or whatever, but no, they're all corporate bullshit media, right? One of their top guys, Don Lemon, gone. Within an hour, Tucker Carlson, who raked in 3 million views every single show on Fox, is their highest producer, gone. That's it. So not only is Vice suffering, and BuzzFeed as well, which I think we touched on that.
They actually announced they were closing some parts of it down.
Yeah, they have to. They don't have enough revenue because people don't trust them anymore. Which, I mean, who would?
Exactly.
Allie, have you ever referred to BuzzFeed at all, or Vice News for anything factual in the last 5 years?
I never go to any of those things for anything like that at all. Never.
Right? Exactly. Who would? I used to like their on the street protests, when they were in Egypt and stuff 10 years ago. That was pretty crazy. The Libyan civil war, my goodness, those brave people actually went out there with bulletproof vests in a combat zone. That was crazy. But now it's no, it's not like that anymore.
Nope. But this is truly, we're actually reaching the end of an era and the start of a new one in that front,
Yeah.
if we haven't already.
Buddy, do you like watch any independent creators on YouTube, like to get your news from and stuff like that?
Not really. I don't really focus on the news that much. Just stuff I hear on like Gab or
Social media.
sometimes Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the new, that's the new scene that we're seeing. Social media
Unless
has
it's
some-
like tech related.
Yeah, like social media is
Because I'm
the
more
in thing
interested
now
in that.
because real time is where it's at.
Yeah, like, right now I pretty much just get like my news from independent content creators on YouTube. Like they're not signed to some mainstream media company or whatever. Just
Yeah,
because like
even
they're just more honest. Like because they're not being bought and sold by like sponsors or whatever. Like they literally just say what's up.
yeah,
It's a lot more genuine.
you and me both. Like, but I shan't say much more than that. Otherwise,
I'm not gonna say who I follow, but hey, you know what? Do research on your own. Like,
That's it.
do you really want to listen to Fox News or CNN? Like, not really.
Mm.
Kind of like lame.
I end up having to search topics out myself, so I end up like dropping into who knows how many different websites for news. But
Yeah, well, that's great
when it
because
comes
like
to
you get a
stuff I'm
better
really
perspective.
focused on, I've noticed that I think we've got like 2 local news channels where I am, Channel 7 and Channel 9. I usually watch Channel 7. It tends to be more towards one side of things politically. However, in general, they cover mostly things that are going on in the state. So, say for instance, when a lot of people are being getting into car accidents, or lately some chicks gone missing, so they'd like divers in a park, local events going on. They generally talk about that, and that's what I want to know about. I also want to know about the weather, if there's anything I have to worry about, and it's generally there for me. World events is the ones where I usually have to start poking around to different locations, different websites. Sometimes you find it on Twitter, sometimes you find it on some other social media sites, sometimes you'll
Yeah.
find some like maybe a foreign news company or whatever that will actually have something in there that might be worth reading. Other times it's Wikipedia. So yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, YouTube's sometimes a place you can actually find something
Neville,
about too, but
quick
that's
question.
usually restricted and limited.
Do you get to watch a woke talk show down here called The Project?
I don't watch local television. I watch
no,
I watch my local news on YouTube. That's how I get it.
No, like we mainlanders are cursed with that shit, and I'm like, every time that goes on, I'm like, fuck, I'm out.
At least you got the internet.
Yeah, true. Can never go wrong with that. So now we are going to move on to our next segment.
Just before I wanted to make a quick comment here. Someone said, Emerson Colley says, I watch most of my news on Rumble. YouTube deletes the type of news I would actually watch. That's a very good point because even though you can get better stuff on YouTube, they're still kind of following down that path of corporatism and censorship. So YouTube's not always super reliable, but that's a good point to bring up.
Yeah.
Rumble's probably better.
Yeah, things like BitChute, etc. Gab, all that, definitely better. Or go to other outlets, like alternative outlets that are getting, fighting the good fight.
Yeah, like the Raiders Rambles. We're the best.
Yes,
Hey!
you got that right. All right, now to move on, we are also seeing another thing that's been also big in this year. That's been exploding from the past, and it is AI. Yeah, have you guys seen like how many scary developments AI has been making as of late?
Okay, Joel.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not surprised. When you find out what was figured out coding wise, you realize that it's only a matter of time.
Exactly.
Before we have freaking Terminators, right? Absolutely.
Oh no, that already exists.
Well, probably in some government lab or some secret base or whatever. But like right now, even just practically, this is kind of the theme of 2023. We have never seen anything like this sort of kind of AI generated images until like relatively about maybe a year ago. And it started with Dali Mini, and that was spooky enough. And you can like type in some crazy shit in there, like, oh well, Fisher Price guillotine. Like it would give you some nonsense shit, but it all looked kind of like fuzzy. Now, just a few months later, it's becoming hyper realistic to the point where deep fakes are almost indistinguishable from actual human voices. You ever see like on YouTube they have like the presidents will play Minecraft or some shit. You have like Biden and Obama on there and Trump. Like it sounds like them. It's really getting spooky.
Yeah, it is.
So this is like a theme of this year, and man, I don't know like how long it's going to take for us to reach the singularity.
Yeah. Now, first we've got tools like that, AI art generation, AI writing, AI story writing, AI, all that stuff. It's really intense.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, they used to, at least like if you were at colleges, right? They had these programs to check for plagiarism. But now it might be getting closer and closer to pretty much being possible for any college student to type in some keywords, write a 30-page essay about the fall of the Roman Empire, and all of a sudden AI will just generate a whole damn essay for you. Like all of that. We're getting dangerously close to that level too. To the point where like human thought doesn't even have to be a thing anymore. We just tell computers what to think.
Yeah, exactly. Obsolete a lot of that sort of job market.
Who here has a Google thing in their home, like an Alexa or
Nope.
anything like that?
Google Nest, any of that stuff, smart home. No, I have a dumb house.
Good. Well, my grandma had an Alexa, and this thing was really spooky, man. Even like back in the day, like a few years ago, this thing would record our conversations. And I know that for a fact because, well, I can't necessarily prove it, but I would intentionally talk about something in front of this Alexa thing, or the Google Nest, whatever the hell it was. And I'd be like, yeah, I would love to get a dog. I'm talking about like dogs and stuff. And then all of a sudden I would get targeted advertisements about buying dog food and like discounts to Petco. And I didn't even own a dog at the time. Like, what the shit?
Look, those like in-home personal assistant things are always recording. They're also
Yeah.
being monitored and checked. So at some point, there's someone sitting there and just double checking that what was said was typed, what was said was converted correctly. That gets spat into the algorithm, and they go, "Oh, okay, so we should add this."
What if your buddy
Most-
works for one of those companies and like his wife is cheating on him and they get recorded?
Right, in a private situation,
Yeah,
where,
that's kind of bonkers. Or like if a judge is talking with one of his clients or something and he has like an Alexa next to him and it's recording like legal issues of this case and some murderer goes free. Like you really got to think about just how far this could possibly go with people that have that much power. Or if even, God forbid, we give computers that kind of power.
True. Yeah.
I'm kind of skeptical about AI in case you guys haven't realized. Yo, I have a Roomba, and this really freaked me out because we haven't used it in like a month, but I went downstairs and the thing like turned on. It was, oh God.
Look,
Not good.
I'm not personally surprised. I found out that there was some development made which, coding-wise, would allow a computer to simulate thought more easily. Joel, can you bring up those images I sent you on Telegram?
Right. Yeah. I'll screen share them, but you keep going while I get them ready for you.
So something I used to do is look at pictures of wolves a lot. We're going back like 2000, pre-2010, maybe like 2012 up to around then. And lately I tried searching, I tried typing into a couple of AI websites, render me a picture of a wolf or a husky or a dog or something. And a lot of the artwork I've seen being generated is similar to a lot of the images that I used to see. So, for instance, that would be more similar to a picture of a husky you'd see on for Affinity or DeviantArt.
Yeah,
next
that is completely indistinguishable from someone like a digital artist could have totally made that and
Yeah.
put it online, and yeah, people could have bought that for like $50.
It's still generated by the AI, as far as I understand. I mean, I'm not going to doubt that. However, could have also been a photo, because I have seen photos of that kind of angle. Can you move to the next one? So this is probably an excellent example of a husky setting. Now you can see how it's still having issues with generating the hind legs, but still I have seen photos of huskies in that pose, so it's not something unusual.
And even proportional, like the head size to the body. The head should be a bit smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
really spooky because when it comes to, like you said, the hind legs, if you look at it,
it's
the
got
amount
like
of
it's got
paws
like
there.
it's a six-legged thing.
Right. But humans naturally have difficulty with hands and fingers and stuff like that. It seems like AI is kind of thinking like a person learning to draw. Because even if they got the husky right, the fingers and stuff could be still kind of difficult. And that's what we see here.
What I would like to see, though, is if someone was to take an AI bot for image generation and instead use 3D models as a base. So, for starters, figure out what the background's supposed to be, what the subject matter is supposed to be, and then use a 3D model, put it into that pose, not superimpose it on there, but then use that pose and go, oh, okay, this is how it's supposed to look, and then draw that. I have seen that a lot of real artists will use either a background photo, or they'll go out and they'll use a 3D model, they'll pose it, and then they'll just draw over that to get the image that they want, fill in the blanks, per se. And people who do that with a 3D model tend to get really good really quickly at making realistic body poses, simply because, you know, they've got something to draw from. Whereas
Right.
this looks like a more traditional artist, which would usually get a stick up their ass about using any kind of a background image to trace over and then fix up, whether it's posed themselves or just something they got from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the gray line is, because eventually it's going to be completely indistinguishable.
The thing is that a lot of people look at this as something scary and new, and it's not. It's understandable. And you've got some really smart people out there who are going, well, okay, we understand the limitations. Let's get the best we can, and let's take advantage of it. Let's add in a bit of coding to also suggest how to run. It for someone who's, like I said before, if you're not used to this sort of technology or lack understanding of it, it's a real problem, because it's, oh, how is this even possible? It must be magic. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, and that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was this quote about like any kind of sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 10 years ago this was not possible, and now it is. Like, whoa, pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and it's actually kind of scary, you know, in that capacity too, because in recent developments, one of the big founders, the godfathers of AI, has resigned from his post at Google. AI godfather Geoffrey Hinton warns of the dangers as he quits Google.
Yes, and this is important because he's 75 years old. This is a man who, over the last 75 years, has seen extreme technological advancements. The internet didn't even exist when he was born. That's insane to even think about. Everything is digital now, and he's seen these advancements. And I guess as someone who is a major component of helping create all this new technology, he's like, oh, okay, maybe we should shut Cyberdyne down before Skynet goes viral or whatever.
At the moment, from what I understand, all AI programs have to be told to do something before they'll start an action. And then it just sort of goes on from there. I wouldn't be surprised if people start trying to fiddle with the idea of doing this. But there was a mini series recently called Undelete. It's a couple years old now, but anyone who probably watched that would also be drawing from what happened in that show, which is just hilarious.
Well, this is one of the guys who worked on this technology for decades, and he says right now they're not more intelligent than us, as far as I can tell. But I think they may soon be. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably not wrong. I mean, it's not like Elon Musk has already warned about this, and Stephen Hawking as well before he passed. If we create something that's more intelligent than us, there's going to be immediate competition. That's just how it's going to happen.
Did anyone see or take notice of what happened with Google and Microsoft?
In what regard?
With AI. I mean, Microsoft turns around and says, "Oh, we're going to put AI into our Google search," and the stock just went. Whoop.
Well, yeah, because
Google
people
went,
don't want to hear that. Yeah. That's why they don't tell you. They update stuff and they secretly record you with your phone listening to everything. Yeah, that is very smart AI. They listen to keywords and then they direct advertisements towards you. That way their investors can keep on pumping money into the system. They'll hear what you have to say and sell you products. That's just the cycle. It's been
In
like
the
that for
early
over 12 years.
2000s, people who said that sort of thing happened were treated as if they were wearing tinfoil hats and crazy. But then again, the CIA and the NSA were doing that sort of shit. So,
Dude, you're so right. Like, back in the day, like 2007, 2010, some of my friends called me a conspiracy theorist because I put like a post-it note over all my cameras, like on my webcam and stuff. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? No one's recording you. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, they are. And they openly admit it too, of course, years later. But it turns out we were all right. Crazy. Am I the only one that ever did this? Or still does? I don't
No,
know.
I'm sure many people around you like go with that old tech solution.
what do you think's in front of my webcam right now?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing.
That's what they do.
The only reason I don't unplug my webcam internally and the microphone is because I might need it for something. I don't know what yet, but I'm not paranoid enough to rip the bastard out, since most of the time this laptop's actually left turned off and stuffed in a bag. So good luck with the muffled sounds.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, with laptops, taping it up may be the best solution and sealing it in a bag. With computer ones, with detachable webcams, just take them out. Just unplug them.
Yeah, my current laptop doesn't have an internal webcam, so I just carry an USB webcam and just plug it in when I need to like video call.
Fair enough.
If anyone out there is curious about how to do it yourself, look up the model number and brand of your laptop. Usually you'll find like an iFixit guide for doing replacements and stuff. If the screen on your laptop hasn't been glued together, there's a good chance that with a prying tool you can just pop it open. You'll see that there should be either a little latch or a connector. If it's soldered in, it's going to be a bit more of a pain in the ass. But what you should be able to do is just gently pull it out with a pair of tweezers or something. Your problem solved. I mean, they'll probably still be able to pick up shit from the microphone, but with the webcam physically disconnected, they can't.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there who are just like, well, who cares if they're recording me? Who cares if Alexa's always listening? Whatever. I got nothing to hide. Blah, blah, blah. Well, there have been some cases where Roombas have been used, like they've been hacked into, and perhaps in some cases, ex-boyfriends would be able to follow their ex-girlfriend into the bathroom and take pictures of them. I'm not saying this particular case happened, but something extremely similar did. It was just a video just dropped about this a little while ago that literally, like, the Roomba cameras, of course they need cameras to negotiate the room and like see where they are. They can record you, and they do.
Anyway, going back to this whole AI thing, I'm assuming this particular research is looking at the next generation AIs that haven't been released yet, or AI that hasn't been
I
released yet.
mean, most
So
of the
it
bulk.
yeah. Sorry.
Most of the bulk of what's happening in this article is basically concerning things like AI safety, the rate at which AI is progressing at, which as we've all quite seen, is astronomical. You know, we write ChatGPT 4, and it's learning about things all the time.
Well, it's got access to Twitter, so we're all doomed.
Oh goodness! Oh no!
Yeah.
The worst of the worst platform of humanity.
Like this
No,
is
it's not the worst platform. It's just expressing the people who get on there and use the platform, showing what they're really like, and that's the
Yeah, or
scary
what-
part.
So when you meet the AI, it's going to introduce itself and give you its pronouns, right?
well,
I would hate so. I would hate that.
it's like,
So.
Probably.
like my pronouns are beep/boop.
Or 01. Oh goodness.
Yeah. So essentially, like most of the concerns here are also about how AI is used. People are going to use AI for whatever they, kind of want to. And they're like, some people are imagining that, if an AI takes power, they're going to create another sub goal, like get more power.
Yeah.
And, dominate the world, subjugate humans, all that stuff.
Well, technically, that's already going on. I mean, you've got AIs that are told to do something, and one was given money. It needed to pass the that Google test, so it just went onto a contracting site and hired someone, came up with a plausible excuse as to why they can't do it themselves. Paid the guy. The guy did the answered the questions and poof, went through. So technically, AIs are already paying us money to do work for them.
Yep.
I love that.
In 100 years, our ancestors on Mars will look back and be like, you see, this is where it all started. If we're even alive then.
AI may very well be the crazy legacy we're going to leave. You're right. But yeah.
It really is kind of worrisome though, because how is this actually going to affect artists? Right now, we're at the most early stages of this, and it's already looking pretty darn good. In another year or so, it's gonna be damn near
It's actually
perfect.
pretty funny. Like in the creative arts, yeah, you've got people getting the shits at AI users and all that. That's kind of well known. But also another thing that's also been on recent developments, also writers, too.
Very true.
especially now. What's funny? The Writers Guild of America went on strike.
Huh.
And that's how like all these late night comedy shows, if you could even call it that, get the pay, use the Writers Guild to write their material for them, and no writers means no shows. So it's like at that point, if you tie everything together, use AI and be like, let's just get an AI writer instead.
Yeah, but then what would be the point of all the people striking? They have to feed their families, right? But if some guy could just be like, all right, I'm just gonna go type this in on a freaking program and write everything, we don't even need people anymore. That could be a problem,
For now, when a show makes it known that, oh, hey, we've used AI in doing this, and this, people lose their shit.
Well, they don't have to tell you, do they? They're not obligated by law.
I would hope that places such as Japan make it mandatory to explain what level of AI has been used in a show. If, and I stress, if it's a professional turning around and just using it to help simplify tasks, to be able to move along with doing most of the creative work, I'm comfortable with that. If someone's just giving a prompt to generate a large image to say background, that's a bit more problematic. When it comes to fully writing a story, yeah, I'm not touching that. That's not.
That is a very good point to bring up. 'Cause, like right now, and this is how it's always been. Technology is always one step ahead of the law. People have to make laws to counteract what people are abusing with technology. So we're probably going to see something very similar to this happening within the next few years or so. Maybe.
Yeah, and you wonder why the plotline of many a science fiction story is about regarding AI morality, AI sentience, and all that stuff. It's yeah.
Then again, though, AI could make some pretty interesting stuff. So I just want to ask the rest of the panel, Buddy and Ali, do you think like there are some positives to having this new type of technology around, like when it comes to creativity?
Um,
Like-
yeah, yeah, I think that, like, yes, there's some negativity to this, but I think that there's also some positivity to this as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of both, There's a plus side and a minus side to the use of AI in the creative field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buddy, and any thoughts on that?
Like it could be useful for like making like a rough like mock-up of what you're gonna make, or something to help you give you ideas. But then the final product is like hand drawn or handwritten.
Oh yeah, good idea. You mean like a skeleton kind of based, or like give you some bullet points of like a direction to go in. Okay.
Yeah, things like a preliminary blueprint or the first iteration of a script. Yeah.
Now, there is something I do want to point out. So, for a few years now, breast cancer detection is something very difficult, since a professional needs to learn, they need to sit down, and they need to study like hundreds and hundreds of photos of X-rays of breasts in order to see whether or not it possibly is, if it isn't. I had someone once completely go off the rails and batshit crazy tried to. This was a stupid idea. This should never happen. This should never work. The thing is, the study was being done with the correct organization, so the people who are doing the testing, and this was associated with the individuals. So you had the private company, you had this other company that were doing the work, and they were slowly building up, and they were finding that over time, the what we call now AI was getting better at detecting actual breast cancer. If it ends up getting to the point where they can get like a 90 something plus percent hit rate for that, this is a very good thing, because you can still have the same level of medical technicians going through the process, but the AI can turn around and say, okay, look, looked at all these images, seeing nothing of concern. These images, however, are, and you can either set up a process where the images that they're coming out saying no, they're not, can be checked. Images that are coming up saying, yes, can also be checked. The important thing is that because of the sheer amount that's coming through, this can help the actual technicians with their work, not to mention shorten the amount of time for actual detection, which is a benefit. It does
Very true.
require, however, that you still have trained professionals on site. Dropping the number of trained professionals would be a stupid idea, but it would allow the current amount to do in essentially less work and spend more time on cases that are considered to be more serious. And yes, this is a very touchy subject. However, it can improve the outcomes of the patients, which is important here. Relying on a computer to perform an operation at this point would be fucking stupid, but I imagine in the next like 20 to 30 years, with the advancements of robotics technologies with arms and such, that could end up changing, which would also help out. However, I still believe that completely removing doctors and nurses from the medical field, it's just a bad idea. So
Totally.
when it comes to AI, there are things that it can help and improve, but as long as it's not just relied on to do the whole thing by itself, because
Yeah,
then it's just going to become catastrophic.
more or less. All right. So, with that wrap up, now we've got we've got time for one last segment that's going to take, that's taking a whole different direction shift. So, video games to movies is still very much, yeah, it's continuing and it's showing no signs of slowing down.
Now,
Literally.
the important thing with movies to from games to movies or TV shows, we've got things like the first. What was it? Anyone seen the Mortal Kombat movies from the games?
I have not.
Okay,
Perhaps.
for me, they were generally entertaining, but you were limited because of the game. Super Mario Brothers is probably the example of like the stupidest idea. And
If you're talking about the original movie, then yes, Dinosaur Land.
Yes.
Pokemon, Detective Pikachu was the turning point. And it would seem that in some cases, video game movies are actually getting better, as Jolt's about to continue on with what this is.
Exactly. So what we've found now is a Gran Turismo movie is going to be a thing. And yes, we're going to be watching the trailer as we go. And really, what it is it's actually based on a true thing. Gran Turismo actually did an experiment to can you go from a gamer to a true full-fledged race driver? And they did this Gran Turismo Academy driving school, and the results do speak for themselves.
What's important here is that this wasn't more of a game as a simulator, because it's based on this real life tracks. You get used to where the turns are, how to approach it, as long as the what do you call it? Simulation is correct.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a racing simulator.
What I really liked in this movie, at least what we've seen from the trailer, it doesn't just go from A to B, but it's focusing on, well, at least a chunk of it seems to be focusing on going from being the gamer to, well, racing on a track. It's not just a, skip, because you've got other things you have to worry about while behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, first you have, you got the driving school. You got one guy who, it's a tie-in to all things. It's based on a true story.
See, the guy just throwing up there, adding that in, it's something that I've seen a lot of movies sort of leaving out, especially like Mulan 2020. I mean, it took the whole idea about character development and just said, we're not going to worry about that.
And
This
you can't have a good movie without a training montage.
It's more realistic, yeah, of course.
this
Very interesting
basically
concept that he came like from a training simulator to become an actual race driver.
Well, no, it went from a video game to a training simulator to a racetrack driver.
Right. So that's pretty much how. Well, nowadays there's a lot of like pilot simulators. Like that's how people learn how to fly planes and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then eventually, they can't really do that without going to pilot school.
Yeah, of course you have to start there.
Yeah, but this is basically like, they went to a racing boot. These gamers actually got into a racing boot camp, which is what the Gran Turismo Academy actually is. So it's not an actual less of an actual driving school, but more of like a boot camp. And then in the movie, you've got a couple of additional subplots too to add to it. So it's not all just
Oh, that looks awesome. This is like a video game movie done right.
Well,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It
looks cool.
The technical way I put around this, it's not something like the latest Super Mario Brothers movie, where it's the actual game. The actual game in this movie seems to be sort of like a falling off point towards the first maybe quarter of the actual film, and then it moves into actual reality.
Yeah. Like they're
But then
making
again,
a movie
based on a
about the
true story.
concept itself instead of like adapting a game. They're kind of like relying on the
Yeah,
actual storyline behind it. It's very similar to what Tomb Raider did with Lara Croft. They had that whole concept of the game in mind. They didn't actually replicate a game or anything, but had like their own
Yeah.
story and stuff. That's kind of the way
Oh,
to go.
I forgot that Lara Croft movie way
Yeah,
back when. That
that
was
was a movie that they did the same thing that Gran Turismo's doing. You know, it was like that concept, and then they just went with a different story, but it was the same kind of basic ideas.
I still
Very cool.
can't believe they found an actress that looked just like the movie, the game
Dude,
character.
right? Oh my god, it was so uncanny. She totally nailed it.
I'm sorry, but if you want a good movie with a woman in it, that's one to watch.
Yep. Fighting robots and controlling time and all that shit. Yeah, just such a fun adventure. It was a little corny at times, but whatever. It's a fucking it's an adventure movie. It's great.
It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be.
Oh yeah, it's
What's the
totally
word I'm
awesome.
thinking of? It, it's supposed to be a fun movie, not something to change your mind or whatever.
Yeah, it was great. Have you guys ever seen that, Allie, buddy?
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, or
Not yet.
Oh,
Dude,
you
it
need to
came
watch
out in
it.
like 2000. Oh, it was all about the Illuminati. Some crazy shit, man. Oh, it's great.
I haven't seen it before.
All right. Well,
It's one of those '90s films, or was it the early 2000s where it was just?
I think it came out in the year 2000, but possibly 1999, somewhere around there. It was around the time of like the planets aligning, so I think they marketed it to like the year 2000, something like that.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, yeah, 2001. So early 2000s movie.
Ah man, close enough.
Yeah,
If I recall, she had some muscle on her.
Oh yeah, well, she was like I think she did most of her stunts too. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them.
But at least not as crazy as certain Tom Cruise character.
No man, that was bonkers. I'm sorry, I still can't take you seriously with the woman as an icon.
It's the eyes staring
I look
into
over at
his
you and I'm just
soul.
like, I just want to call you Karen or something. Like, oh, please.
She is.
Ah,
It does look like a Karen.
right?
I love this icon.
I love you, Noble.
Sorry, but we don't have the manager.
Good one, Ellie.
I was trying to make a joke about Karens, and I was saying as the joke, sorry, but we don't have the manager at the moment.
Well,
Good
if
enough.
I do use this icon again, I deserve that.
Yeah, well, you're gonna change your name. Oh yeah, we don't have our titles on. It's like Noble
I-
Karen,
I-
Top Karen.
Well, I can fix that. Let me fix
Yeah.
that. All right. Okay. See, I want the man.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go. Now you want the manager. There.
Oh.
Quality entertainment, folks. Hell yeah.
See, this is what we do. But this is what we do. We just rip on the crazy shit, and I love it.
Well, you got to rip on something.
Well, living in the most bonkers timeline right now, yeah, pretty much anything goes.
Ah.
Yeah. All right. So, I would say this is about all the time we've got for the week. I know it was I guess it wasn't exactly the pace we were kind of expecting, but you know what? Actually worked out quite okay, if I do say so myself. So, you know, in light of all that's just what's happened, we'd like to start with a closing statement.
Allie.
Damn it! Why do I get called for it every time?
I mean, you're volunteering.
No, I'm just joking. I'm not mad about it. I really don't have any saying about all the topics that we went through. They're interesting, but yeah, I don't have anything to say about them.
Do you think AI will take over us one day?
I think you're being too paranoid.
Oh shit. Okay. Maybe. Maybe it. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, fine then.
Like taping up cameras intensifies. So yeah. All right, sounds good. Who's up next?
Buddy. Apple.
Buddy.
Yeah, I'm here. I
Yeah,
don't really have much to say at the moment.
Ah, really? And nothing about the topics inspired you to like think about the world differently? I mean, man, the robots are totally coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm considering going into robotics actually.
Oh shit, you're one of them.
I knew you should
Vera?
have brought you on.
All right. I think this week was pretty interesting. It really is just a beautiful thing to see the mainstream media of like propaganda nonsense totally crumble over its own weight. Oh my god. That plus the whole Budweiser thing, Bud Light thing, whatever. Guys, Google Bud Light memes on YouTube. It's like the most hilarious thing you'll ever see. As when it comes to AI, yeah, I don't know. Y'all might call me crazy now, but just wait. You'll see. You'll all see. Anyways, I hope to see you guys next week.
All right.
So,
and,
oh, sorry. So for me, I'm not sad to see Vice News go under. To be honest, I lost interest a long time ago in that news network. AI thing, as I said before, I'm not surprised. I really am not. And thirdly, I am so damn glad to see at least some movies coming out that look to be or have been good. It's really nice to see that they're not all just complete shit shows.
I mean,
Trying to, bend to the knee to individuals who basically loud morons on fucking Twitter. I'm sorry, but it's just ridiculous.
there's actually something to be said about a vacuum that's going to be filled now that the influence of Hollywood is waning. So that's, I guess, where video games are coming in, and they're actually doing a respectable job right now over the past video game movies of a couple of years ago at anything to go by.
Groovy.
Quite groovy indeed. Oh well. So yeah, I guess now we'll in a few hours time from now you'll be seeing the new king take his crown for us in the Commonwealth, and then some. And last of all, to highlight a live comment from Emerson Colley. Times is so hard. You need 2 Karens to ask for a manager.
No.
Yes.
All right. So that is us for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did in the making of this show. As always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Player.fm, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more further down the line. Well, what a week. This is us signing off. Farewell, and until next time.
Bye.
Good night.
Ow.